You know the feeling. The video call drops again. The connection just crawls, and the client is on the phone complaining that the Wi-Fi is down. But as a wireless technician, you know it's almost never that simple, right? The real problem is usually invisible, a silent battle being waged in the airwaves all around us. So it's time to put on our detective hats and really dig into the hidden world of radio frequency interference. And to really get this right, we're going deep. This is actually the first part of a huge 20-part series. It's all based on a super detailed report by the folks at RFI Detectives who are part of Virtualization Options LLC. Think of this as us building a complete toolkit for you, the wireless pro who's out there on the front lines every day.
Okay, so you get that call. The client's beyond frustrated, the network is totally unreliable, and guess what? It's your job to fix it. But is it the router? Is it their devices? Or is it something else? The truth is, you're not just a technician in these moments, you're basically a detective arriving at the scene of a crime, and your first job is to understand the environment.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to map out this whole crime scene. We'll start with the crowded airwaves, then we'll get into what the ISM bands really are. We'll identify the usual suspects, the intentional transmitters, and then the sneakier ones, the unintentional intruders. Finally, we'll wrap it up with the big coexistence challenge.
You know, every RF interference problem is really a mystery, and to solve any mystery, you've got to know the landscape. I want you to think of the radio frequency environment as your crime scene. It's chaotic, it's buzzing with activity, and it is absolutely littered with clues. You just have to know what you're looking for.
So where exactly is this crime scene? Well, it's all happening in what we call the ISM bands. The best way to picture it is like a public highway with no speed limits, no traffic cops, and no real rules. It's this unregulated space where all our modern wireless tech has to try and survive. It's where the chaos lives. And these ISM bands, that stands for Industrial, Scientific, and Medical, they were never actually meant for our Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Seriously, they were originally set aside for stuff like industrial heating equipment or, the microwave oven in your client's break room. It's only later that they became the backbone for our wireless world, all sort of loosely governed by the FCC's Part 15 regulation.
As technicians, we're mostly dealing with three of these highways. You've got the 900 MHz band, which is full of old cordless phones and a lot of IoT stuff. Then there's the 2.4 GHz band. This is where most Wi-Fi and Bluetooth lives, and it is just incredibly crowded. And finally, the 5 GHz band. It's got way more lanes for modern Wi-Fi, but those signals, as you know, have a really tough time punching through walls. Each band is its own unique puzzle we have to solve.
Now this, right here, this is the one single rule of the road. And it's not a suggestion, it's a flat-out mandate from the FCC. Any device using these unlicensed bands, from a high-end enterprise access point to some cheap Bluetooth speaker, has to put up with whatever interference comes its way. There's no complaining. It is literally every device for itself out there.
Okay, so we've got the scene of the crime set. Now, let's start identifying our first group of suspects. These are the devices that are supposed to be there, the ones that are actually designed to communicate wirelessly. Let's call them the intentional transmitters.
Of course, the biggest players fear are the Wi-Fi networks themselves. And we all know this fundamental trade-off, right? 2.4 GHz gives you that amazing coverage that goes through walls, but it forces you to fight for airtime on just 3 clean channels. Co-channel interference is pretty much a guarantee. On the other hand, 5 GHz gives you all that speed and capacity that a modern office needs, but every single concrete wall or metal cabinet can be a total showstopper. This choice, right here, dictates our entire strategy from the minute we start a site survey.
So with all that chaos, how does something like Bluetooth even survive in the 2.4 GHz band? Well, it uses this really clever trick called adaptive frequency hopping. It's constantly listening for noisy Wi-Fi channels, it marks them as bad, and then it just rapidly jumps between whatever channels are left. We're talking thousands of times a second. It's a really smart way to avoid getting stepped on, but it's not perfect. A sudden blast of noise can still knock it right off its path.
Okay, so we know about the devices that are supposed to be transmitting. But what about all the stuff that isn't? This brings us to our second and honestly more mysterious group of suspects, the unintentional intruders. These are the culprits behind some of the most frustrating problems you'll ever face.
And here is the absolute crucial difference. An intentional radiator, like a Wi-Fi AP, is designed to be a radio. It plays by certain rules, it behaves in predictable ways. But an unintentional radiator, like a microwave oven, it's not supposed to be a radio at all. It just leaks RF energy as a byproduct of what it does, And that leakage can just wreak havoc on your network with this brutal intermittent noise that is absolutely maddening to try and track down.
And the list of these intruders is just huge. We're talking microwave ovens, old cordless phones, those cheap switching power supplies, big industrial motors. But it's also physical stuff. Walls, metal filing cabinets, even a room full of people can absorb and reflect signals, creating dead zones out of nowhere. The physical environment itself is a prime suspect.
All right, we've identified the scene of the crime, and we've got our list of suspects, both the intentional ones and the unintentional ones. So now let's put all the pieces together and really understand the core conflict we're up against. This, right here, is the heart of the matter. You've got your high-speed Wi-Fi network trying to work, you've got frequency-hopping Bluetooth devices, you've got all these low-power IoT sensors, and they're all getting blasted by an old cordless phone in the office next door or a faulty power supply under a desk. It's like everyone is shouting at the top of their lungs in the same tiny, unregulated room. And your job is to be the one who brings order to that chaos.
So, now we get it. We understand the environment, we know the players, and we know there's a serious lack of rules. We have our list of suspects. The big question is, how do you actually find the real culprit? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle in the next part of our series, where we dive into the diagnostic tools of the trade.